Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lula and I am here with you today for round 2 of the Lyon championnat. I played 2 games today, so I have 2 recaps, but I was told in my last video where I recapped 3 games, like back in December, that it was too many, so I'm going to keep it to 1 game per video. This morning I had the white pieces against a lower rated player because I lost yesterday to a higher rated player. This is kind of how it happens in the Swiss tournaments. You play up, then you play down, and it kind of goes that way until you have a couple points. So I was playing this guy, he is 1465, and I didn't know what he was going to play because he had no data. He's only got 17 games and none of them are in the database. So we have a French, and I was like, great, I get to play 2 French games in a span of 24 hours. Excellent. I love that. So let's just zoom past the normal moves because I play the advanced variation here. And this is all standard advanced French, standard advanced French. And then usually I'd play this line with A3 and B4. And it forces black to resolve the tension in the center. And he took, I took, and he played bishop e7, which I knew was not correct. But at the same time, I didn't know how to punish it. So I played b4 anyway. It stops the b2 pawn from hanging if I want to develop my bishop. And I was like, this can't be bad to play on as normal. So a6 was definitely unnecessary. I'm not planning on pushing b5, but I guess my opponent thought that I was. If b5, then my opponent would have been able to play, oh my gosh, if b5, sorry, I'm on a trackpad. My opponent would always be able to play knight a5. Obviously, I wouldn't play it here, but in general, the knight could hop here at some point, so it's probably not something I want to encourage. Usually only play b5 if they play a5. So a6, and here I was planning on playing, okay, so I start with bishop d3 because he can't take the pawn. There is a tactic which wins the queen. So I played all normal moves, no longer have my advantage, whatever, cool. Bishop to d7, okay, so now I have to defend my pawn because there are no more checks to win the queen. So I decided to play bishop to b2, which is the normal move in this line. I did spend some time thinking about bishop e3, and I was like, well, why don't I just play bishop e3? Surely it's a better move. And then I was like, why can't I usually play bishop to e3? And I couldn't figure it out because I can't visualize anything in my head. Like, I wouldn't have been able to tell you what the normal line was and why you can't play bishop to e3 in the normal line. So I was like, probably shouldn't mess anything up. And I just played bishop b2, which is objectively a worse move. And I know that the bishop is a better piece on e3. But like I said, I could not find the reason why it's not always on e3. So it's on b2. My opponent played f6. And I was like, oh, that seems a bit early. But again, I was like, I don't really know how to punish this. I didn't want to take. I know you're supposed to take. I didn't want to take because then they get the horse, you know? So I was like, I'm not going to take that. I played knight to c3, just continuing my development. And I kind of thought, like, if they play f5, oh, apparently I can just take it here. I didn't even think about, well, I didn't really think about it in a meaningful way. But yes, of course, I actually did see this kind of sacrifice later in the game. Didn't get to play it though, but did see a very similar thing. But still, okay, I mean, it's nice, but it doesn't even want us to take the bishop, which is crazy because the bishop is black's best piece. And okay, yeah, they get to develop the knight and we are down a piece for 2 pawns, but this looks very nice. And that bishop is black's best piece usually. So, and now look, we get the piece back. Okay, Stockfish is crazy. Stockfish is doing crazy Stockfish things right now, and I'm okay with that. This wasn't the game. Anyway, so I just continued normally. That is going to be the theme of the game, is I continued normally, and it didn't like always go very well. So I castle, which Stockfish gives me a big old orange question mark for, because apparently I should play knight to a4 at this point. And I did kind of consider playing knight to a4 at several points. But here I was like, oh, this puts even more pressure on this pawn by deflecting the queen to it. I was like, how does that help me if it puts more pressure on the pawn? But then here I'm supposed to take. But then here, I guess, like bishop takes, and then this more pressure here. Sorry, I've played a whole extra game of chess since then, and I'm very tired. Okay, so this could have been the position. This makes sense that this is an okay position for me. Anyway, that's not what happened. So let me show you what did happen. He develops the horsey, I castle because I'm a foolish fool. He castles. Honestly, I was like, who gets to castle as black in the advanced French? I was sat there reevaluating my life choices. I was like, how have I played the advanced French so wrong that my opponent is able to safely castle with the black pieces? Like, it's +1, but okay, what French isn't +1? But yeah, he can just safely castle, which I guess I'll die. Honestly, was not convinced about knight a4 instantly. I don't know why. I just delayed it. I did play it eventually, but I delayed it. I just didn't think it was like that serious. Look, Stockfish wants this move order. Okay, so he plays knight to f7. You know, here I actually spent a long time thinking for no reason, and then I almost played the worst move, which, well, okay, it's not worst move on the board, but I almost played bishop c1. Because, like, why would you play bishop c1 either? Because I was like, oh, my bishop is bad. You know, I was like, the bishop is not a good piece. I should have put it on e3 to start with, and I was regretting my life choices. But here, like, he can just come back as well. Like, knight f7, okay, Stockfish doesn't like it, but, like, it's okay. My point being that, like, obviously if you go here and then this is really bad, I can just take. And then I get this tactic, which is the same tactic that Stockfish wanted earlier. Except this only works if you play the silly move knight f5, which he wasn't planning on playing. And after the game, he said, well, it was clear that he was like deep into, like, he liked to calculate. Like, he was calculating every position and probably like all of the combos. He wasn't playing moves based on vibes. He was playing moves based on what he thought was like concrete calculation. Can't necessarily relate, but I mean, good thing I didn't play bishop to c1 because it would not have really achieved anything. But okay, it doesn't like my move of rook c1. It doesn't like any of the moves I'm playing. Classic Stockfish. At least it doesn't like my opponent's moves either. Rook e1. I'm so bad at chess. So after takes, I play knight to a4. Finally, I get a best move icon. You guys are probably like, Lula, why have you not taken this f-pawn? That's so cringe. I guess, like, I should take it here when he can not take back with the rook. But I was just like, well, then he gets, like, nice bishop. You know? And I was like, nice bishop? Do not like that for me. Oh, well, I can always sack my knight here if, you know, he does nothing. I can go bam, bam, sack, sack, kapow. I was like, how can the rook be bad on e1? You know? Stockfish was like, of course the rook is horrible on e1. Why would you put it there? Anyway, my opponent plays takes. Best move. No more sacrifices for me. Knight a4. And then I take. Because if I take with the knight, I'm getting in a little bit of a pickle. If you see what I mean here. Because this is not so good. It's looking a bit spooky. I did not want the spooky. Did not want. Understandably so, I think. So I took with a pawn instead. And then my opponent gets this move out, knight g5, and I was like, oh, Jesus, I'm losing to a 1450. And here I did a big think, and I played a bad move. Yes, I did. I actually don't know what the best move is here in the position. I am excited for Stockfish to tell me. I haven't looked at this with the engine yet. Rook e3, I calculated rook e3 and I really thought it didn't work because of d4. And I did calculate this as well. I'm sorry, Windows wants to update and I'm not letting it. Okay, I did. I looked at this. And what if takes? Oh, really? It works? This kind of stuff works for me? Oh yeah. Damn. Nice. Okay. Well, I really just thought that d4 was good. I just honestly took his word for it because I just didn't see this follow-up of queen to h5. I was not locked in at 9:30 this morning, apparently. So yeah, I was considering rook e3 and I did not play it. And I played a worse move. I played bishop to c2 because a lot of the moves I wanted to play, they were kind of like, I was worried about bishop takes knight at some point, and my queen like being deflected away from here and like stuff like that. I was in the big think tank apparently. And so I was like, let him take, okay? Look, it's not even the best move. I was like, let him take. Of course he's going to take. And then he played bishop h4. And here I was like, am I still worse? I was really like, am I still worse? Because I thought I was. And I was like, okay, obviously knight c5. Pretty much like the only move, I think, that isn't awful. Bishop c8, I was very confused by. I was like, surely you just instantly play b6. I'm going to threaten checkmate, yes. And then I'll move my horsey after. I had looked at this kind of thing with the rook, and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to trade my bishop for this, my horse for this rubbish bishop. Oh, this is a quirky move. Not that move. I'm not sure I would have found this quirky move, but it's very nice, Stockfish. Good for you, Stockfish. Anyway, that's not what happened. My opponent played bishop to c8, and thank God he did, because otherwise I'm just like not having a fun time. And then I play another mistake because I don't understand chess. I threatened checkmate. Well, it's like, it was close to checkmate. Anyway, and you know, the bishop and all sorts. Anyway, apparently I was supposed to play f4 and give a pawn. Of course, for reasons. For reasons, I was supposed to give a pawn. I attack the defended bishop. And then do I still go here? No? Oh, I have a check. Do you know, I'm not really with Stockfish on this one. Like, I get that there's stuff. I'm just not really sure I'm with Stockfish on this one, though. Obviously, wasn't going to find that pawn sacrifice. f4 would have been nice. Not happening. I should mention that I did not have that much time because I spent a long time on my bad moves, as usual. Classic Lula. What move are we? We are move 20, and I have 23 minutes. My opponent has 40. So anyway, I threatened checkmate. Like the foolish fool that I am. g6, of course, forced. And I was like, oh, I'm making weaknesses. Queen e3, and I'm threatening to come in here to menace the king. b6, of course. And I play knight b3 because I am a foolish fool yet again, and I should leave my knight hanging. Why am I letting my knight hang? Why? Because, oh, yeah, you get it back. Okay. Whatever, Stockfish. I thought knight good blockader for pass pawn. My little tiny brain was like, well, my knight here is a nice blockader for this pawn, and also it will defend this pawn, and I have, you know, potential tactics on the knight, yes. But okay, forgive me for not playing this move. My opponent played queen c7, which I thought was a mistake, yes. I really thought, though, that the best move would be queen to f7. At which point I am obliged to play something that looks horrible, like this move looks horrible to me, or something like this, king to g2, which I had considered. Probably was going to play king to g2 because, I mean, yes, we're attacking the horsey, but also we're disconnecting our rooks, and also they can just defend the horsey and connect their rooks. So I was like not that convinced. I was not that sold on it. And now you want me to go and take a pawn with my king out here, and then I'm allowing queen f4 and stuff? I don't know. I don't think I really believe in Stockfish. Stockfish doesn't have the same level of anxiety that I have, clearly. Anyway, I play yet another bad move. Of course. It just wants me to pin. Anyway, I play yet another bad move. My opponent plays queen e7, a move I had not even considered. And I was like, bishop g6, we're going to liquidate. at least my bad plan works. My opponent plays bishop to g5, which I think just doesn't work. Anyway, I just was like, queen h7. I don't know why. What do you mean brilliant move? What do you mean sacrifice? Like, come on, Stockfish. Stockfish is just drunk, apparently. Anyway, I just traded the pieces, and now after knight to d4, I just have such an easy to play position. I thought rook h3 was not great, and then bishop c1. Apparently it's not the best move, but I was like, this is pretty much his only good piece. This bishop is awful. This rook is not in the game. They cannot get in the game right now. I trade off his one good piece, play the endgame. We're going to win at least one pawn. He doesn't want to trade. Bishop to e3. And actually now the rook is just trapped. But even if the rook is not trapped, I have much better position, much easier to play. And his best piece is now like not that good. King h8 is not a great move. The rook is trapped, but I understand like king h8 was played because, they can't develop the bishop, which means they can't develop the rook, which means they're playing down two pieces essentially in this position. And yeah, they would have had to play something like bishop to d8 in order to save the rook, but they didn't see that it was attacked. And here he resigned because he is playing down a fair amount of material, and he's about to lose more if he's not careful, because I'm going to pin and win the bishop. So he has to move the bishop, and he's got to, it's looking very bad for him. I'm going to win this pawn. I don't have to take this pawn right now. I'm going to bring my rook in. We're even going to have checkmate threats potentially. I don't know. We'll see. But he resigned, which I think this is a fair moment to resign. I don't think there's really much counterplay for black here. I was very happy to trade down in this position because I was a little bit stressed, honestly, around here. I was a little stressed. Okay, I knew that queens to c7 was bad, but like back here, I was concerned about the situation at hand, Obviously, I want to be able to play like king h1, rook g1, sacrifice on g6. Like all of these ideas crossed my mind, but he was playing pretty actively. I mean, he played a couple of inaccurate moves, and this bishop is really bad, but he was playing very annoying moves as well at the same time. And okay, I didn't play right with queen here. I still think that like my queen move is objectively annoying and a bit scary. So I don't think it was bad. I think it served its purpose actually in this position. I mean, here he just has to move the queen again. It's not really, I don't think that bishop to d3 is really that miraculous of a move. Oh, and look what Stockfish wants me to play now. Of course. Do you know what? Actually, I think Stockfish needs to retire. Stockfish, inaccuracy? We all see where the move arrow is going, right? We all see where that's going, and we all see. Anyway, Stockfish, whatever. You're fired. I won the game. I hope you enjoyed this recap. Very chaotic. Very sorry. My thoughts are fresh, but clearly not very well constructed. Was I being outplayed by 1450? I don't know. I'm not sure. I thought at points maybe I was, but then, the balance was restored to the universe. I will see you for the recap of this afternoon's round 3, where I will play with the black pieces because, that's how it works usually. And yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Bye, guys.